There were animals running around inside.
Yeah, there was raccoons in there, and the roof was leaking. Everything was falling apart. A lot of stuff got wet. The ceilings got wet in the back section. We took everything out completely, dug up the ground, and put new plumbing in. Then we moved in, did the rooms on the opposite side.
It was a labor of love for Kenny, Jim, and just a handful of others who volunteered hours of their time to restore the Cushing Memorial Chapel.
Every aspect of that renovation has a story to it. And the reason is, it's not like we were building a school and, we're going to build, what do schools cost today? 200, I don't know what they cost, millions and millions of dollars. And we didn't have that. So everything there was a roadblock for us every time between the state purchasing issues and things like that. We had to negotiate or do it ourselves.
It was because of their unwavering perseverance and hard work that the chapel was literally saved from demolition. Kenny, Jim, and their team's restoration was just one chapter in the chapel's long history since its creation 8 decades ago. It's one of only a few buildings still standing from the original military hospital that opened its doors in 1944.
The German prisoners and Italian prisoners of war were bussed in every morning from Fort Devens in Air.
Right.
The German troops actually did the waxing of the floors, the laundry, and all the necessary supplies, and etc., and planted the trees there.
They did all the work around the grounds.
And
took
who
care of
actually built the chapel?
Well, the POW, Italian POWs built it.
At the start of World War II, the United States War Department acknowledged that more military hospitals were needed to care for sick and wounded troops returning from the conflict. Cushing's central location within the greater New England area was ideal, as construction on the medical facility began in 1943. Following its completion, nearly 14,000 soldiers were treated at the hospital, which specialized in neurological wounds. In fact, the facility was named after the World War I Army surgeon Dr. Harvey Cushing, who was a neurosurgery pioneer. Medical care continued at Cushing even after World War II ended. Wounded veterans of the Korean conflict were also treated at the facility before it eventually became a geriatric hospital in 1957. It remained one of the largest employers in Framingham for years, until efforts to renovate the facility fell apart at the hands of a crumbling economy. The doors to the hospital closed in 1991.
If you think of the number of people in those eras, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, into the 90s, that either worked there, had family members that were there, it was a very large connection that was very real to the community.
John Stefanini, who was a state representative at the time, says there were countless ideas of what to do with the space, from turning it into a golf course to affordable housing. There were even efforts to redo the facility into a state-of-the-art geriatric center.
We held community meetings at St. Andrew's Church, and we filled the place, more than 100 people, and we would meet regularly to talk about the future of the facility. People cared deeply about what happened to the place, and there were very passionate views, which is why Dante DeFazio's admonishment, do nothing, was so profound, which is that everybody stepped away from their primary goal to leave it alone, and it became a place. I mean, I'm at Cushing several times a week, and no matter what time of day it is, it's filled with people enjoying the walking trails and around and walking their dogs.
Let it be. That was the consensus. The brick and mortar of Cushing Hospital was eventually demolished, making way for the open space we see at the park today. According to Stefanini, the state originally wanted to demolish everything. But here, the chapel stands strong, with efforts to preserve its legacy continuing today. Earlier this year, Mayor Charlie Sisitsky announced the reactivation of the Cushing Memorial Chapel Advisory Committee. In addition to planning an 80th anniversary celebration, the group will also be required to, quote, review needed repairs to the 80-year-old chapel.
The chapel is just a spectacular memorial to the veterans and the people that have gone through there, and a great community resource. The person who saved Cushing Chapel was the community.
Yeah,
it was.
Everybody.
Cushing was such an integral part of the community that it was important for the community. We were very lucky to be able to have preserved the legacy and the park.